My phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m. I almost didn't answer. Work could wait, and anything else at that hour was usually trouble. But something nagged at me, a premonition maybe. "Hello," I mumbled, already regretting picking up. Then the dam broke. Sarah's voice, a strangled mix of sobs and accusations, ripped through the speaker. "He left me. Mark just left me here. At the goddamn motel, David." Can you believe it? Motel? Mark? My brain short-circuited for a split second. Then, a cold wave washed over me. This wasn't just trouble. This was the goddamn apocalypse. I let her wail, the details blurring into a symphony of self-pity. I should have felt something, right? Pity, anger, anything. But all I felt was numb. So, I did what any self-respecting guy who's just had his suspicions confirmed would do. I hung up. Asterisk click. Asterisk silence. Finally. But let's rewind. Yeah? Back to the beginning. When Sarah wasn't a screaming mess at some roadside motel. I met her at a gallery opening. Pretentious, I know, but work perk. She was across the room, holding court, laughing loud. She had this energy, this, I don't need anyone vibe that, I gotta admit, got to me. I was always a sucker for the strong woman type, probably 'cause I thought I could be her rock, you know? Turns out, she didn't want a rock, she wanted a launching pad. We talked for hours that night, about art, about life, about her dreams of conquering the corporate world. I was hooked. I thought, damn, this girl's going places. I just didn't realize those places wouldn't include me. Looking back, the signs were there from the start, weren't they? Like her obsession with Instagram. Every brunch, every candid moment, had to be perfectly curated, filtered to hell and back. At first, I thought it was just a millennial thing, harmless self-expression. But it was more than that. It was a constant need for external validation. She'd get visibly upset if a post didn't get enough likes or comments. "It's just social media, babe," I'd say, trying to be supportive. "Don't let it get to you." But it did get to her. It was like her self-worth was tied to the number of strangers who double-tapped a photo. I should have seen it then. The emptiness she was trying to fill with fleeting digital approval. And then there was the job. I was up for a promotion, a big one. Relocation to the West Coast, serious money. The whole 9 yards. I wanted it, bad. But Sarah, she just started her own passion project, some Etsy shop selling overpriced candles. She claimed moving would derail her dreams. So, like a goddamn idiot, I turned it down. "We're a team, right?" she said, all-doe-eyed and grateful. "I couldn't do this without you." Looking back, I should have asked her to compromise. To consider my ambitions for once. But I didn't. I was too busy trying to be this supportive boyfriend. Now, I'm just supported by regret. The real kicker? A few months after I turned down the promotion, she started dropping hints. "You're just too comfortable, David," she'd say, like it was a diagnosis. "You're not hungry enough. Too soft." That's what she settled on. "You're too soft." It stung, man. Especially coming from her, the woman I was bending over backward to support. It wasn't like I was some couch potato. I had a good job. Paid the bills, did my share around the house. But apparently, that wasn't enough. I wasn't alpha enough for her. And the seed of doubt was planted. Maybe I was too soft. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Enter Mark. "Just a friend from work," Sarah chirped when she first introduced us. Mark was everything I apparently wasn't. Confident, assertive. Always had some hustle going on. He even wore those tailored suits that scream, "I'm important." He was always around, at her candle business events, grabbing coffee with her to brainstorm. I tried to be cool, not the jealous boyfriend. But something about him rubbed me the wrong way. The way he looked at her, the inside jokes they shared, the way she lit up when he was around. It was subtle, but it was there. My gut was screaming, but I ignored it. Trust your partner, I told myself. Don't be insecure. And let's not forget the money. Or rather, my money. Her candle business? More like an expensive hobby. It barely broke even despite my investments. Meanwhile, I was working my ass off to keep us afloat. I never said anything, not wanting to stifle her entrepreneurial spirit. But it started to grate on me. The constant Amazon packages arriving, the weekend trips for inspiration. The business expenses that looked suspiciously like designer handbags. I started feeling less like a partner and more like an ATM. And she treated me like one, too. Never a thank you. Just an expectation. You know how it is, guys. You start feeling like you're being used, and the resentment builds. Let's dial back. I messed that up above. It was a month prior to Amazon Gate. The candle supply bill, nearly double the previous, did it for me. I calmly asked, "Babe, did something happen? This is nearly $400. She flew off the handle. I'd never seen anything like it, right there in Applebee's. I can't believe you. You're questioning me. You think I'm inflating this? It was just a question, until she made it an attack. She got up, ran to the parking lot. I paid, of course, and followed her outside. I spent the next 2 hours apologizing for daring to ask a valid question about our, mostly mine, finances. The kicker? She didn't explain. She just cried, and I caved. I should have known. Then came the business trip. A candle convention in Atlanta. It's a huge opportunity to network, she gushed. And guess who else was going? Mr. Always Hustling Mark. He's presenting a workshop on social media marketing, Sarah explained, as if that made it less suspicious. My internal alarms were blaring. But I played it cool. Have fun, I said, forcing a smile. The whole thing reeked of bullshit, but what was I supposed to do? Ban her from going? That would just make me the controlling boyfriend she already accused me of being. So, I packed her bags, drove her to the airport, and watched her walk away, a sinking feeling in my stomach. I knew. Deep down, something bad was going to happen. The next few days were hell. I tried to focus on work, but my mind kept racing. I checked her Instagram obsessively, looking for clues. Each candid photo, each generic, having a blast, caption, fueled my anxiety. I told myself I was being ridiculous, that I was letting my insecurities get the best of me. But the silence was deafening. The calls were short, vague. Busy with the convention, she'd say, her voice distant. I tried to trust her, to believe in us. But the gut feeling wouldn't go away. It was like a constant, low-level hum of dread. I was being played, and I knew it. Which brings us back to the phone call. 3:17 a.m. Her voice, raw with panic, shattered what little peace I had left. The details didn't matter. Some fight, some drunken whatever. All that registered was Motel, and Mark left me. It was like a movie scene. The kind where the protagonist finally sees everything clearly. The lies, the manipulation, the disrespect. It all crystallized in that one frantic phone call. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. The soft guy, the supportive boyfriend, the A-team, he was gone. All that was left was a cold, hard realization. She made her choices. Now she could live with them. So, I let her cry. I let her plead. I even let her start with the, "I'm so sorry, David. I don't know what I was thinking" spiel. It was almost impressive. The way she could turn on the waterworks on command. But this time, it didn't work. I'd seen behind the curtain, and the show was over. Click. The line went dead. I tossed the phone on the nightstand and stared at the ceiling. No anger, no sadness, just emptiness, and a strange sense of peace. It was over. Finally, truly over. I was free. Free from the gaslighting, free from the financial drain, free from the constant need to prove myself, free to be me. She arrived back the next afternoon, looking like a kicked puppy. "We need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. I met her at the door, my expression blank. "About what, Sarah?" I already knew everything. She launched into a carefully rehearsed story about a misunderstanding with Mark, about how he was just a friend and nothing happened. I let her ramble, watching her squirm. The lies dripped from her tongue like poison. When she finally paused, breathless, I simply said, "I know about the motel, Sarah." Her face paled. The carefully constructed facade crumbled. But even then, she didn't confess. She deflected, she minimized, she blamed Mark. Anything to avoid taking responsibility. Classic. Later, after she went to bed, on the couch, naturally, I did some digging. Her phone was unlocked. She never changed the password. I know, invading her privacy. But I needed proof. And I found it. A hidden album filled with photos from the trip. Her and Mark, holding hands, laughing, looking like a couple. And the messages, pages of them. Flirty, suggestive, outright explicit. There it was, in black and white. The confirmation I didn't need, but somehow craved. The final nail in the coffin. Any lingering doubt vanished. She wasn't just a liar, she was a master manipulator. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, sleep impossible. It all clicked. The girl talks with her friends weren't just harmless venting. They were strategy sessions. The constant comparisons to other couples weren't just innocent observations. They were calculated digs designed to make me feel inadequate. Even the spontaneous date nights were probably just damage control after some transgression. I'd been so naive, so trusting. I'd bought into the whole strong, independent woman act, never realizing it was just a smokescreen for insecurity and manipulation. The red flags had been there all along, waving frantically. I'd just been too blind, or too soft, to see them. And that's when the double standard hit me like a ton of bricks. If I had been the one on a business trip with an attractive female colleague, posting vague photos and sending flirtatious texts, she would have lost her goddamn mind. Accusations, interrogations, maybe even a social media meltdown. But because she was a woman and Mark was just a friend, I was supposed to be cool with it. I was supposed to trust her implicitly, even when my gut was screaming otherwise. The hypocrisy was staggering. It's always different rules for them, isn't it? They can explore their options, but we're supposed to be loyal and unwavering. That's the game, fellas. Wake up. The next morning, I called Ben, my best friend since kindergarten. I laid it all out, the motel, the texts, the whole damn soap opera. He listened patiently, then said, "Dude, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so." Ben had never liked Sarah. He saw through her act from day one. He tried to warn me, subtly, but I dismissed him as jealous or not understanding her. "You dodged a bullet, man," he said, his voice firm. "She's a grade A narcissist. You deserve better." It was good to hear. Validation that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't overreacting. Sometimes, you just need a bro to tell you the truth, even if it stings. The next few weeks were a blur of logistics and awkward silences. Dividing up belongings, figuring out the lease, dodging her attempts at reconciliation. I kept my distance, polite but firm. I wasn't angry, just done. The relief was immense, like shedding a heavy weight. But there was also a lingering ache, a sadness for what I thought we had, for the future I'd imagined. It wasn't easy, letting go of someone you'd invested so much in. But I knew, deep down, it was the right thing to do. I deserved better. And so did she, honestly. Just not with me. Then came the financial reckoning. Splitting up the assets, closing joint accounts, dealing with the mountain of debt she'd racked up. I was meticulous, fair, even generous. I could have fought her on some things, but I just wanted it over with. Still, it stung, seeing half my savings disappear to pay for her passion project and her designer tastes. I'm not saying she planned it this way, but it certainly benefited her. Long term, I'll be fine. I'm good with money, but it definitely set me back a few years. That's the price of being too soft. I guess. A financial education, courtesy of Sarah. With the financial stuff sorted, I could finally focus on myself. And what I wanted was to get back on track, professionally. I started putting in extra hours at work, taking on new challenges, networking like a madman. That promotion I turned down? The opportunity was gone. But I was determined to find something even better. It wasn't easy. My confidence was shaken, and I had to fight the feeling that I wasn't good enough. But I channeled my anger and frustration into something productive. And slowly, things started to turn around. I rediscovered my ambition, my drive. I was no longer too soft. I was hungry again. I heard through the grapevine that things weren't going so well for Sarah. Her candle business tanked. Mark ghosted her for a younger model. Surprise, surprise. And she lost a bunch of followers after some ill-advised rant on Instagram. I didn't gloat, didn't take any pleasure in her misfortune, but I wasn't exactly shedding any tears either. Karma's a bitch, as they say. And sometimes you just have to sit back and watch it unfold. The universe has a way of balancing things out, you know? I just focused on my own path, on building a life that was fulfilling and authentic, without any manipulative candle-selling sirens. So, what did I learn from all this? A hell of a lot. I learned that strong, independent doesn't always mean what you think it means. I learned that social media is a breeding ground for insecurity and validation-seeking behavior. I learned that just a friend is often anything but. And most importantly, I learned that you have to prioritize your own happiness and well-being, even if it means disappointing someone else. I'm not saying all women are like Sarah, but I am saying that modern dating is a minefield, and you need to be armed with knowledge and self-respect to navigate it successfully. Consider this my contribution to the cause. The irony, of course, is that she called me too soft. That's the line that sticks with me, the one that fuels my dark humor. Too soft, she said, while simultaneously bleeding me dry, manipulating my emotions, and sleeping with her friend. It's almost comical, the level of self-deception some people are capable of. I used to think I was doing the right thing, being supportive, being understanding. Turns out, I was just being a sucker. A well-meaning, financially responsible sucker, but a sucker nonetheless. Now, I can laugh about it. Gallows humor, maybe. But laughter is the best medicine, right? Even if it's slightly bitter. These days, I'm doing pretty damn well. I landed an even better job than the one I turned down. I'm in great shape. And I'm surrounded by good friends who have my back. I'm not actively looking for a relationship. But I'm not opposed to the idea either. The difference is, now I know what to look for, and what to avoid. I know my worth, and I'm not willing to settle for anything less. So yeah, Sarah called me too soft. But maybe that's just what happens when you try to break a man who's made of steel. He just gets stronger. And sometimes when I'm dead tired after a long day at the office, someone calls at 3 a.m. to sob that someone else abandoned them at a motel. I almost feel bad. Then I remember what a bullet I dodged right after I dodged that call. And sometimes, when I'm driving past some candle store and hear sirens, I laugh a little bit because I am the better version of myself now, knowing I could have been one of these two chumps that are currently fighting at the Motel 6, but now I can hang up the phone, sleep soundly, and be ready for a challenge of my own that I choose to conquer.